Hello lovelies, I am the Fragnostic, and on tonight's edition of The Holy Truth, we're taking a peek at Cinderella's escape, in which Cinderella is locked in the dungeon. What happened to her? Can she escape from the dungeon? Cinderella needs your help. Now, I know what you're thinking, because believe me, I thought the same thing. This isn't the sort of game I normally play on account of, being in a relationship and stuff, but the developer was nice enough to offer me a copy for review. And this is the R12 version, so, why not? What's the worst that can happen to us? It's rated 12, so we're not going to push a block the wrong way and get a battered anime vagina in the face. I've been assured a patch exists, so if that's your thing, go nuts. But we can't be friends anymore. I'm just kidding. Whatever floats your boat, lovelies. Before raping it with tentacles. The story starts faithfully enough to the traditional fairy tale besides Cinderella's pornorific choice of work attire. Cinders is still minus her parents and in the custody of her atrocious bitch of a stepmother who works her like a seaside donkey, cleaning the house and running around after her two shit-stained stepsisters. Then the letter from the prince turns up, like, I am horny as fuck, so I'm ordering every woman in the kingdom to come and stand in one room while I decide who's gonna get their back door royally smashed in. And Cinderella's like, fuck yeah, so, just like the movie, her stepmother pretends to allow her to go just so her horrendous daughters can violently strip her before they... God damn, even the Disney version is fucked up. I didn't censor this, by the way. This is the R12 filtering. Christ knows what's happening under there. I don't want to say tentacles, but God help us. You don't lift the lid off a trash can hoping to find daisies, do you? Cinderella has some vivid rage vision about just outright killing the shit out of anything in her line of sight before going to the ball anyway in hope of hooking up with Prince Charming. But the prince is preoccupied with other matters, like stabbing the king to death. Yeah, have that. The Black Dad? I don't... Cinderella gets patsied for the murder, and her and her family get rounded up and thrown in the dungeons. Yeah, thanks a bunch, Cinderella, you idiots. But lo and behold, lovelies, if you were wondering where the fairy godmother figures into this madness, wonder no more. She springs our girl Cinders from the brig and imbues her with magical powers, the ability to jump a bit higher than usual, and sort of lash out erratically with her feet. I guess you could call that a kick, if it's your first day of after kindergarten taekwondo class. But how are we going to use that to boot the hearts out of the palace guards and show it to them impaled on your heel as they cling uselessly to their last seconds of life, I hear you cry? Well, we're not. We're not going to fight any of them. No. Our quarrel is with blocks. Lots and lots of blocks. Fuck yeah, blocks. You don't want any of this. Gorilla folds the antelope. Termite ingests the couch. So yeah, this is the game portion of Cinderella Escape, which I guess after you've slapped a 12 rating on it and cut out all the cartoon pornography is really all you're left with. The gameplay is divided into several dozen stages that have you navigating your way through a puzzle chamber by way of either breaking blocks or moving them to reach the exit. Simplicity itself, yes? Oh, that it was, my dizzy little ducklings, for the catch is that for each stage you're limited to the amount of times you can jump and kick, denoted respectively by the blue and red slipper counters in the bottom right of the screen, forcing you to limit your wild power or face being trapped in the dungeon. Forever. Or at least until you hit retry, which you can do as many times as you like without penalty. Finding the exit will net you experience and gold, which you can use to purchase various items of light BDSM gear for Cinderella from your cell, which doubles as kind of a wardrobe and level select screen. There you go. Finish the game. Do it fucking blindfolded. Any way you could stuff her inside a sleeping bag full of feral cats while you're at it? As the puzzles become more complex, you'll need to switch between your third person and bird's eye views to navigate the levels, which you can handily do in a flash via the tab key. You can view the stage at a custom distance, but that involves using the mouse wheel to pan out, which takes a bafflingly ludicrous amount of time, considering that this is the type of game where viewing a problem about 5 inches further back than where it was originally isn't going to help me. But it's not a massive hindrance, as there's nothing that can't be easily accomplished between the two default cameras. What does start to get on your tits after a while is that unless your jumps and kicks are perfectly lined up, fuck you. Just go ahead and swallow a fuck you sandwich. Now that'd be aggravating in a game where you didn't have to worry about a counter ticking down every time you tried to leap anywhere. But here it's not like you can just climb back up and try again. Same goes for kicks. In stages like this one where you have to boot down columns of stone to just the right height, it's entirely possible that you'll just randomly destroy 2 blocks at the same time, effectively sending you back to the start, which isn't heartbreaking early on in the game, but later when you've spent an ice age heaving these bastards around to try and get them into position, it becomes a tedious roadblock in a game that already feels like an endless march through identical territory. Most of the puzzles aren't even particularly clever. The developers have elected to just fill the chambers with extraneous shit that act as red herrings rather than pieces of anything approaching a complex puzzle. Cinderella Escape is a playable game in its own right, you can't take that away from it, you know, it rises above just being an excuse to revel in hentai trash. But honestly, couldn't all these issues have been solved with a grid system that would lock the blocks in place so that you didn't end up smashing the wrong ones to pieces, or trying to make jumps that the game refuses to recognise, or just look at this fucking mess, wobbling all over the damn place. It's like trying to build a tower of fucking weebles. Christ alive. A frustrating, repetitive experience. But then I guess that's what the tits are for.